Genius. Genius. Kanye West is definitely a genius. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis, Erica Vane, coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV, giving you breakdowns of your favorite films, TV, and more in entertainment. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my breakdowns. This video is all about Kanye West and his 3-part documentary series that is premiering on Netflix, Genius. I actually missed out on seeing this at Sundance. I really wanted to see it. I just could not make the times work for the digital screenings, but I'm so excited that they have released it so quickly and they're doing it weekly in parts. Part 1 dropped last week. The part 2 will be dropping this week, and I will be breaking down each of the parts, but in this video, we'll be talking specifically about part 1. And what I will say in general about part 1 is I feel a little bit of validation. I feel good. I think being a Kanye West fan and watching how he's navigated his life as well as his career in the last 10 years, it's definitely been a very bumpy ride. Specifically how his career trajectory changed, how his life decisions changed shortly after the passing of his mother, and how things just kind of went a little bit haywire ever since. One, I think that it's utter brilliance, the fact that he's actually been filming this throughout pretty much the beginning of his career or throughout his whole career. His lifelong friend, childhood friend Cootie, decided to give up his stand-up comedy, to give up his on-camera dreams and things that he had going on, to be able to document Kanye and record Kanye through the journey that was him becoming Kanye West that we know and love today, right? So I think that is absolutely brilliant, and that's for the most part what you get in the first part. The first part is literally setting the stage. It lets us know who Cootie is, and then it also takes us all the way back to the 90s and early 2000s when Kanye is going hard, making beats, meeting people, hustling to try to get put on. He is placed into a producer box very early on because he, worked on the Blueprint with Jay-Z, did 50% of that album, just kept coming with bangers for people. He was linked to Harlem World earlier before that. Like, he has done really great producing work, but he has always been a rapper deep down, and we're taken right back to that era and time and able to watch him actually struggle to get respect as an MC, even though he has tons of respect as a producer. I was just watching it and I was just so much in awe and falling back in love with the Kanye then. And I say the Kanye then because the Kanye that we have today, it is so hard to ride for him. It is so hard to feel connected to him. It's so hard to feel like you get him. But if you were to go back to the early 2000s or the mid 2000s as a Kanye West fan, you felt like you knew him. Like, you felt like you were right there with him, and every ounce of my being wanted him to win. Every ounce, like, just wanted any and every opportunity that could come his way to happen. And to see, 20 years later, how a lot of sentiments for a lot of people has changed, but then to be presented with this documentary, like I said, overall I feel good, but it's also very conflicting feelings because while watching this, I'm taken right back into the moments where I fell in love with Kanye, and like, you get to see how raw and real he was, the things that really mattered to him. You get to see his passion, and you get to see, the things that are really ingrained in people that make them a success as long as they are able to put perseverance and push through whatever struggles or whatever hurdles might be placed in their way. And you really get to see that. Part 1, I think, does a beautiful job of just outlining and touching upon some of the things that Kanye had to go through in the makings of Kanye West. And we get to see moments where he's confident, he's humble, he might be arrogant here, he might be insecure here. And I just thought it was so beautiful. Act 1, or part 1, is titled Vision. And it's all about setting the stage of, like, Kanye knew that he was going to be him. And I always thought that was one of the things that I really loved about him. I think I was reading W magazine or something like that. And I remember reading an interview that Kanye did maybe about 10 years ago or something. And he told this story about while he was hustling to make it, he would go to the mall and just take it in and enjoy like people not knowing who he was and being completely unknown and being a regular person, because he knew at any moment one of the things that was going, like one of the things that he was doing, one of the people that he had met, all of the work that he was putting into the industry, everything that he was putting out there, at any moment he could blow and his life would never go back to being the same. And that was something that stuck with me, because I go back and I think about that story a lot as I'm like navigating certain things, and like even doing little stuff like building this channel or working on my scripts or just doing certain things where you're in the beginning stages of building something that you're hoping to be grand and bigger and just see so much success. Like that's a story that always stuck out to me. And when I watched this, I was taken right back to that place of like reading that article and like, wow, like that is really what Kanye looked at it as. This first part, you really get to see of like, yo, he knew that he was gonna make it. He knew that he was gonna be a big damn deal, and it was just a matter of when, which is powerful. It's very important. It's very important that we have vision for ourselves, vision in what we want to do, and we have the faith enough to act on that vision. You know, like I definitely think that that's one of the things that I take away from the first part. We get so many pop-ups and cameos in this first part as well. Like even the intro, we get to see Kobe, we get to see Talib Kweli and Mos Def and like a bunch of like Rockefeller people, because at the time he was producing a lot for Rockefeller. The first part takes us all the way up until he gets signed by Rockefeller. I love getting the deeper understanding to the nuances between Rockefeller and Rawkus, and like how at the end of the day both of them, well, he was described as like the mix between Rawkus Records and Rockefeller, which I thought was like it was so spot on. I had never thought about it before, but that's so spot on. And in reference to Kanye when he first broke out into the industry, that's literally how you could see him. Like he was literally the mix between the artistry on both of those labels, and he was going to wind up signing with Rawkus, but then they wound up going a different way. And Rockefeller and them was him and Han and other people sniffing around for him to be, you know, do producing. But at the end of the day, he winds up signing with Rockefeller. We know that whole story. We get to see that clip. Like I've seen that clip a million times in reference to when Kanye is in Chicago, the Dynasty tours in Chicago, and he comes on stage and Dame gives him the chain and all that. I absolutely love that. But part one is like super grounding in the makings of the Kanye that we loved. And I've been thinking about doing a video essay just about Kanye West and where his fans are right now in reference to our feelings and our sentiments. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, or how you feel. Are you a Kanye West fan? And if you are, how are you feeling right now? Because Kanye West in 2022 is not the same Kanye, but I don't even know if I can register if that's a good or a bad thing. And then I also, while watching part one, I am pulled to a place of like, we're all humans though too. Like we all change, and it has been 20 years. Of course he's going to change. Of course he's going to evolve. I think where I draw a pause when thinking about Kanye today is that this Kanye feels a lot more lost. And that's crazy to say, because like you would think at the beginning of your journey, when things aren't actually working out as planned, where you can't see the record deal in sight, where, you know, one of his mentors like came at him and did a diss track early on, and that deeply affected him. Like you have all of these things shifting and changing in your life so much. You would think that that would be the portion of your life where you have the least amount of vision, or you're the most lost. But even in going back and watching part one and then thinking about Kanye in 2022, he feels so much more lost now. Because back then, as shown in this documentary, Kanye loved black people. He loved his mama. He thought that he was talented and he was going to always be something great. He knew that he was an amazing MC. He was loyal to his friends and his family. He was like just a real person, but just wanted to make it and was going to do anything to actually make it. And then the Kanye today, I mean, on any given day of 2022, you don't know what he's going to tweet or what he's going to Instagram. He's going through this very public divorce with Kim Kardashian. He is now trying to rally black people up against Kim Kardashian when he spent years pedestalizing her and handing her over the culture and kind of spitting in everybody else's face in the process. Kanye in 2022 feels very lost, but watching part one of the Jeen-yuhs documentary, it's like, yo, you really knew what you were doing, and it was all just a matter of time, and that's a dude that we really love and rock with. Now, if I was to think about or just talk about the cinematography, I thought it was so beautiful how they were able to integrate the various cinematography and how they chose to edit this, because they have literally been recording over the course of 20 years. So much has changed when it comes to video equipment, formatting. Like back then we used to have square TVs still with the backs on them. Now like streaming is a big thing. You know, part of what they're talking about here, one of the biggest breaks in part one that Kanye gets that he's so excited about is, like, you heard it here first on MTV, and it takes us back to when MTV had TRL and Cribs and all of these things that really helped shape culture and formulate the things that we aspired to as Black creatives or Black people. It was just really cool to see. Like, honestly, this Jeen-yuhs documentary, at least part one, and I'm expecting a little bit of part two too, is really just going to be almost like you traveling back in time. At the very start of it, we're in 2020, where he's in the Dominican Republic, and it's kind of like an intro to the whole documentary, but he's also like talking about his damn presidential run. But then after that, we're back in the past, and we're going with him to, you know, the label and watching him play his music for people at the label who are completely not paying attention to him, completely disregarding the fact that Kanye is playing this fire hotness that's going to wind up being a thing that actually propels him to stardom, and they just looking at him or like talking to other people while they're in the room, and it's just like, okay, it's just another day. Oh, word? Okay, got it. But even in that, like, even in the scene of watching Kanye go through the Rockefeller offices and like play his music for everybody and like be really vibing out, you could just see how much he wanted it. You could just see how much he wanted it. I miss this Kanye, and I told myself I was not gonna say that in this video, but I really miss old Kanye. Damn. A good portion of part one, we get to see Kanye spend in New York, because he moves to New York. Well, he lives in New Jersey, but moves to New York so that he can pursue his record deal and get more opportunities. But then we also see him travel back to Chicago midway through the first part so that he can go to the GCI conference, speak there. And then this is where he connects with one of his mentors who actually taught him how to make beats. And this really set the stage for telling the story around the beef that happened between them. In an interview that he does with Double XL, he mentions both No ID and Doug Infinite, but they leave out Doug Infinite because at the time he doesn't have a big profile like No ID does, and that's something that media will do sometimes. It's unfortunate, but they will do it. This sparks Doug Infinite to create a whole diss track and play it, and it gets picked up in Chicago, and they listen to it and they bumping it, and this deeply affects Kanye. And this is part of the genius of the whole thing. Like, the fact that he was recording this entire time is utter brilliance. Like, you can see how deeply hurt Kanye is by knowing that, like, this dude that he kind of had here basically, like, saw an opportunity and took it to humble him as if Kanye was here, but Kanye is already looking at you like you are here. Like, Kanye looked at him like he was above him. Well, not necessarily above him, but like he definitely like honored and revered him and respected him and gave him all the credit for, you know, all of the things that he did to help Kanye become Kanye. And I can only imagine how that feels to have the people who put you on and help you create you start to shit on you. Like, that is like a very hurtful thing. And for us to be able to see that in this documentary and be able to track specific beats within Kanye's life and within his career, and to see the things that probably like really deeply affected him, I think that they're also giving us insight into how certain things played out the way that they did. Because in part one, we also get to meet his mother. While he's at home, he goes to go see his mother, and you can see how just close and connected they are. You can see how he thrives within her vicinity, with her energy and her vibe. You can see how much she instilled in him confidence and strength and just high levels of self-esteem. Like, some of my favorite scenes of the whole part one are the scenes with him with his mother. He's the most happy, he's the most grounded, he's the most introspective, and he's the most vulnerable, I think, while he's with his mother. And that just takes me back, like, literally while watching this whole, like, the first part, and I think throughout the rest of the documentary it's going to continue to be the same, y'all. I think that I'm just going to keep cycling back through, like, then and then comparing it to now, and like thinking about like okay, how does this affect what he has done in the last 5 years or the last 2 years or the last 1 year? Like, there's so much, and I don't think that we talk about this enough in the Black community, but there's so much that happens to us in our formative years. And while Kanye is a grown-ass man in the part one, right, this is also part of his formative years of his career. There's so many things that might happen to us that we don't actually realize while it's happening, that literally embed themselves within our psyche and affect us and go on to help shape how we move through life. And I really feel like another part of the genius of this documentary series is capturing this, and then now us being able to go back, or even Kanye maybe being able to watch this and go back and see how certain moments in time probably impacted the things that happen in the future and ultimately changed his life forever. Y'all, if you have not seen Jeen-yuhs part one, please go and watch it. Like, us getting Kanye's story, and this part is the beginning, is great, right? Getting to introduce to Cootie. I had no idea who Cootie was, but now I'm going to be looking forward to whatever he does moving forward, because cinematically, I just think that this is beautiful. I think that it's so dope. And he definitely, while Kanye had a vision for his career, him deciding to film Kanye and drop what he was doing in life and go on this journey with Kanye was also very visionary as well. And I think that that's actually brilliant. But then also, they have so many people in here. There's Wood Harris, Beyonce, Scarface, Mos Def, Jermaine Dupri, Mace, like Memphis Bleak, Talib Kweli, of course Jay and Dame, Common, Caduce from MTV, like so many people like that he was just running into or navigating with or politicking with, just trying to get put on. And I'm just like, yo, this really takes me back to the early 2000s. I was in high school thinking I knew I was doing something in the years. One of my favorite musical moments within part one is the freestyle with Mos Def in him. So like Mos Def starts this like beat and starts to rap, and they create like this little sonotic flow with like just doing like these 3 parts to the rhyme, right? So you gotta stay within that. You gotta be nice to do it, right? So Mos Def is doing what he do because he Mos Def, and then Kanye literally just picks the ball up. Like Mos Def passes it to Kanye, and Kanye just goes, and then he keep going, and then he keep going, and people think he about to stop, but he keeps going. And this is when he was still in his producer bag, and nobody was taking him really seriously like a rapper. And it's like, nah, you really do this. And I hope that people take away from, at least if you're aspiring to do anything, I hope that you watch part one and you get that you need to just go do the thing. If there's something that you believe that you were put on this earth to do, if it's something that you really want to do, that you're so passionate about, it does not matter who does not believe it. As long as you believe it, all you got to do is do it, and take any and every opportunity that you have to do it and do it. Whether you show people, whether you show yourself, whether you show your mama, it don't matter. Every chance that you get, do the thing. Okay? If you want to be a filmmaker, Erica, make films. If you want to be a singer, sing. If you want to be a rapper, rap. At every chance that you get, go and do the thing. Tap into your own genius. All right, y'all, that is my full breakdown / review of part one of Jeen-yuhs, the 3-part Netflix Kanye West trilogy, now streaming. New episodes, well, the next 2 will be this week and the following week. Make sure that you check it out. And once you do, come back here and let me know what you think. Drop down in the comment section and let me know exactly what you thought. How did the part make you feel? What are you thinking about? What are you hoping for? I don't know. I definitely feel very nostalgic. And then also looking at today's Kanye, I'm just like, we were doing so great and you ruined us. But you know, I might be the only one. Let me know in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button and turn your bell notifications if you want to hear about any other great documentaries, film, as well as my television breakdowns that I do every week with some of your favorite television series. I'm breaking down Power Book 4 Force, Sisters, All American Homecoming, and so much more. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications. Join the tribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.